Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the story about Naruto. What if Naruto become a kami half-god part 3. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please do support for more awesome content and also hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends. And also support the creator of this fanfic. I have created many playlists, check it out in the channel. So let's start the video. Naruto said alright, here's the key to the apartment. It's got furniture already, and if you don't want it, I can move it to one of my other apartments. As he handed the key to her, Ino's eyes got wide and said, "This is?" Naruto said, "Yeah, it's the one with the great view of the village." Ino smiled and said, "Thank you, Naruto." Naruto said, "Hey, what are friends for?" "Well, I must be going. If you need me for anything, my apartment is on the 3rd floor." Inoichi asked, "Do you mean on the 3rd floor?" Naruto smiled and said, "No, I mean the entire 3rd floor. I remodeled that floor, turning it into a big loft. Just take the stairs up to the 3rd floor and knock on any of the doors." Ino said, "Right, well, I guess I can start packing my things so I can move in right away." Inoichi smiled and said, "My little princess is growing up." Naruto said, "Princess, huh, that's not what I see when I look at Ino." Inoichi scowled and said, "Really? And what do you see?" Ino, who was almost out of the room, looked back and Naruto said, "A strong, beautiful, and proud Kunoichi of the Leaf Village." Ino smiled and walked out of the room and Inoichi said, "Perhaps she will always be my little princess." Relaxing the glare he was sending to Naruto. Naruto said, "Well, I need to go, Saya around." As he left. That evening Naruto was in his apartment when there was a knock on one of the doors and he went to one of the other doors and opened it and saw Ino standing there and he leaned against the doorframe and said, "Ino." Ino said, "Master, may I come in?" Naruto stepped aside and Ino walked in and she looked around before she said, "So you really did turn the entire 3rd floor into a loft?" Naruto said, "Yeah, it took me about 6 months to do it." Ino turned and asked, "Why did you want me to move out of my home, master?" Naruto said, "You want to prove to people who you are. Also, if people saw you coming here every day they would start talking. And you know how rumors are. Until I claim my family name I don't want to see you get hurt in the crossfire, so by having you move into the building you can just claim you're renting a place here. Also, what I said about training is real. I'm going to have you work just as hard as I do to prove how strong you are. Besides, mentioning about my hobby will give you a chance to help me with my bloodline without raising any questions." Ino said, "I see, I guess that would work," and and I agreed on 2 days a week of me working at our family business and I get $100 a day. How will I survive on that?" Naruto said, "Taking missions, Ino. By being forced to work for a living instead of having everything given to you, you will learn the true value of $1 and appreciate what you have even more." Ino said, "I hope you're right. Daddy bought me a week's worth of groceries and a few other items he thought I might need." Naruto said, "Good, tomorrow we get our teams and I expect you to do that." Ino blushed and said, "Yes, master. Do I get a reward for today?" Naruto walked over and asked, "Do you think you deserve a reward?" As he whispered the last word by her ear. Ino shuddered, closing her eyes, and Naruto pressed his lips to hers and held her close. After a few moments, when they both had to breathe, Ino was panting and Naruto said, "Never question if you deserve a reward or not, Ino. I will decide when you do or don't." As he smacked her ass lightly, making her keep. Ino quickly said, "Sorry, master." Naruto said, "It's fine this time, now go get you some rest." Ino nods and quickly leaves and Naruto sighed and said, "Woman." The next morning when Ino awoke she was startled a moment as she tried to figure out where she was when the events of the previous day came back to her and she thought, "That's right, this is my apartment now. It's 6 a.m. That means I got 2 hours before I have to be at the academy for team selection. I guess I could start getting ready." 2 hours later Ino walked into the academy classroom and looked around and saw a rose floating in the air before sitting on a desk in the back of the room and Ino thought, "I don't know how he did it and I know that is Naruto doing that." As she walked over to the wall by the door and leaned against it. Kiba said, "What's this? You're here before Sakura and you're not trying to get near Sasuke. Who are you?" Ino said, "It's me, dog breath. I just happened to have decided since we are no longer in the academy to drop the act. I like the cold-hearted bastard. After all, he served his purpose by letting me be a leader to all the others and make sure I'm the strongest in the class physically, with Sakura beating me by 2 points in book smarts and following right behind me in 2nd place in physical. Now I have the best chance of being one of the lucky ones who will pass the real genin test, while the others will fail from being too weak besides Sakura. At this everyone was stunned looking at Ino and Sakura who were outside the door and had started to come in and asked, "Is that true, Ino?" Ino looked at Sakura and said, "I had to watch my best friend's back. By making sure you were my rival all these years, I made sure you would try to outdo me in everything which would make you able to pass. If you want Sasuke, you can have him." As she walked over and kissed Sakura on the cheek and said, "Good luck, Sakura, and this is yours if you want." As she handed Sakura a ribbon and walked to the back of the room and sat down at the desk where the rose was. Everyone was gaping and Sakura looked at the ribbon and then at Ino and then at Sasuke and Sakura said, "So this is on the level, you don't want Sasuke-kun?" Ino said, "Nope, in my honor as heiress of the Yamanaka clan I swear I don't want anything to do with him." Sakura nodded and looked at Sasuke and then at Ino again and said, "Wait, what are you doing here, Naruto, and how did you get by Ino?" Causing everyone to look back and see Naruto sitting there in his new clothes with the bandages over where the whiskers had been. Naruto said, "I was sitting back here the whole time," and waved Ino to come back because I was going to ask her if she found anything wrong with the apartment she's renting now. I guess with everyone shocked, Ino finally quit pretending to be a fangirl. "Everyone was too distracted to see me, so did you find anything wrong?" Ino said, "No, Dad even went over the entire apartment looking for anything that might be wrong, and he said I lucked out with one of the best apartments in the village. I mean, with all the security and privacy I got, I don't have to worry about any trouble." Naruto said, "Glad you like it, and remember, if anything messes up, you know where my apartment is to complain." Ino nodded, and a girl said, "Like you could do anything, dead last." Naruto looked bored at the girl and said, "Actually, for your information, I'm certified by the Village Safety Commission and building inspector as a carpenter, painter, electrician, plumber, mason worker, and iron worker. I've owned the entire building I live in since I was 6 years old after the council declared me an adult, and I have had the village do inspections every 3 months since then to make sure it passes all the village health codes. I've even had the Fire Lord himself stay in my building once because it was more comfortable and safer than one of the 4-star hotels. I've mostly rented out to the ninja of our village. Had my last tenants not died on a mission a few months back, Ino wouldn't have been able to get an apartment, and when one died along with the rest of her team, her fiancé moved out along with 2 of his friends who were engaged to members of the team that died. Too many memories of good times with their loved ones. I've waited until now to rent them out again to give them and the rest of their family time to get their belongings out since it was painful for them, so we are ready to find out our team's Iruka-sensei." Ignoring the astonished looks everyone had, Iruka smiled and said, "Yes, we are. Everyone please take a seat now. Onto the teams. Team 7 is Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto Uzumaki, and Sakura Haruno." Sakura screamed yes. Iruka said, "Now Team 8 is Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburam, and Hinata Hyuga. Team 9 is still in service, so Team 10 is Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akamichi, and Ino Yamanaka. You're all dismissed and be back at 1 to meet your sensei." Naruto said, "Hey Ino, if you need me today for anything I probably won't be available. I plan to go see the Hokage after I meet my sensei. I have a drop box by my door, so just leave a message there if you need me, and I will come by to fix whatever is wrong when I get home. By the way, here is the receipt for your security deposit. Can you check it and make sure everything is right?" Ino took the paper and noticed a second paper, and Naruto winked at her with his eye that wasn't seen to anyone else, and she looked at it and said, "Looks right, thanks." As she slipped the second paper to the front and read, "Ino, if you have time, I want you to run from the bottom of the Hokage monument to the front gates and back again and time yourself. If you have to stop and rest, write down how many times and how long, so that way I can judge your stamina to better help you train. Just drop the results in that box and I will get the results later. Besides that, you can do what you want and keep things looking official to the landlord and renter for now. I need to keep things quiet for the most part until I can better use my bloodline, at which point I can reveal things. Good luck with your team." Ino got up and left the room, seeing everyone was leaving to eat, and after she was gone, Naruto noticed that he was alone and he left the room. Sakura began to chase after Sasuke and stopped and went after Ino instead. She found Ino sitting on the roof of the academy and she walked over and asked Ino, "Pig?" Ino said, "Yes, Sakura." Sakura frowned and said, Why break us up Why make me think you wanted to be with Sasuke? Why don't you call me forehead? Ino sighed and said to Sakura, there are things about me you don't know that nobody and one person knows. At one time I thought you could be trusted with these things, and then you started to treat me like everyone else does. Yes, I'm an heiress to a clan, and I don't want to be seen as one. I want people to see me as me. Only one person actually has, and had the balls, to do what was needed to prove that he saw me as me. We were best friends, Sakura, and then you put me on a pedestal where I was everything you wanted to be. You quit seeing me as me when you did that. I had to do something to keep from losing another friend. That was why I created the act of liking Sasuke and became your rival. The name I called you was a challenge. I wanted you to stop seeing me as everything you wanted to be and become who you wanted to be. I want us to be friends, Sakura, and I don't want you to see me as what you want to be. I want you to show me and everyone else who you are. The world is not a fairy tale. The prince doesn't always ride in on a white horse to save the damsel in distress. Sakura said, I know that, Ino. Ino said, then why are you living your life like you think it is? You're walking the same path I was on, Sakura, one that would have left me dead or worse. I got a wake-up call that opened my eyes. Please look at yourself, and I mean really look at yourself. If you can live with who you are right now, then fine, be that way, and I'll put flowers on your grave. Please become who you were meant to be, not who everyone else wants you to be. As she got up and started toward the stairs, Sakura bit her lip and said, wait. Ino stopped, and Sakura asked, how did you change who you are? Ino smiled and said, the person who opened my eyes told me about the goddesses of fate, destiny, and chance. The only fate we all share is death. The only destiny anyone has is to be born. Chance is based on our own choices. He told me Kami gave everything one gift. The gift of choice. It may not be easy, and at times I have to stop myself from going back to the way I was, and I made a choice to change, and I chose to keep changing from what I was to who I want to be. I've already fulfilled my destiny. I will someday meet my fate. Until then, my choices will decide my life, and there is a chance I will become what I want, and if I don't, then the choice of what I do become is still mine. If you want to change, Sakura, then make the choice to change and stick with that choice. As she turned and left, Sakura thought, who told you something so profound? I am happy with who I am. As she sat down. 10 minutes after leaving the classroom, Naruto found Iruka in the teacher's lounge and said, hey Iruka-sensei. Iruka said, hey Naruto, how's it going? Naruto looked around and said, pretty good. I was wondering, could you do me a small favor? Iruka said, I'm not buying you ramen again. With a smile. Naruto laughed and said, no, not that. I was wondering, is there any chakra control exercises you could tell me about to help me get better? I want to become a better, stronger ninja, and I know my chakra control will be the most important thing right now. Iruka looked at Naruto for a moment and said, do you remember the leaf exercise where you had to float it on your head? I tried to teach you Kiba, Choji, and Shikamaru. Naruto thought for a moment and said, a little. As he rubbed his head embarrassed. Iruka said, I wish I could teach you a more advanced one, and that is all I am allowed to teach you. What you need to do is make it float above your head about an inch and keep it there. If you can, try to get it to spin in a circle while keeping it in place. Naruto nodded and thought for a moment and asked, can I use other things besides a leaf, like a small stone or something to make it harder, or can I do it in other places besides my head? Iruka smiled and said, those are both very good questions, and I am impressed. The answer to both are yes, and I would start with the leaf. I will tell you what. If you are really serious about getting better in chakra control, then, if you can get it, where you can float a leaf on both your hands, your feet, and your head all at the same time for 5 minutes without stopping, I will request permission from the Hokage to teach you a more advanced version. Naruto smiled and said, is it okay if I cheat a little to learn it? Iruka blinked and asked, what do you mean cheat? How can you cheat to learn chakra control? Naruto said, well, I've been training the last couple of days, and I've used cage bunshin on several occasions to help me set up things, and I discovered anything they learn is transferred back to me, and the other clones when dispelled. I figured if I have one clone working on one place at a time while other clones are working on another, then I could learn this exercise really quickly. Iruka thought for a moment and said, I did not know that. I will allow you to use that to help you, and I want you to learn to hold 10 leaves for 5 minutes in the air. That way you will have better control in more places. Naruto said, I will, Iruka-sensei, and thanks. You don't know how much this means to me. There's something else I want to tell you, and until I talk to the Hokage about it, and he agrees it is the right time, I have to keep quiet. Iruka said, I am sure whatever it is will be something I won't forget. By the way, what is with the clothes and the bandages on your face? Naruto said, the clothes are part of what I want to tell you about, and the bandages are sort of out of sight out of mind thing. Iruka nodded and said, well, I got a lot of work to do, and you only have 20 minutes left before you are to meet your sensei. Naruto nodded and said, thank you for everything, Iruka-sensei, and I wish now I had been a better student. Goodbye. As he turned and left, Iruka smiled and thought, it seems that learning the truth is helping you to be a better person, Naruto. I'm proud of you. Naruto went back to the classroom and saw the other teens coming in the room, and Naruto saw Sakura sitting at a desk beside Sasuke looking in deep thought, and he walked over and sat on the desk in front of them and said, well, I guess since we're on the same team we should make the best of it, so I got a deal for you, Sakura-chan. Sakura frowned and said, no, I am not going out with you, Naruto. Naruto laughed and said, that wasn't what I was going to say, in fact it was going to be the exact opposite. I was going to offer you a deal where I would never ask you out again if you answer just one little question for me. It's actually something me and Ino talked about, and I was just wondering if you could answer it. Ino, who walked in hearing her name, asked, what are you talking about? Naruto walked over to where Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were. Naruto said, I was just telling Sakura-chan if she could answer one question for me, that I would never ask her out again. It's the same question I asked you about, Sasuke, that you couldn't answer. Sakura's ears perked up as Ino realized what Naruto was talking about, and Sakura said, what is it? Naruto said, besides Sasuke's family name, his looks, and his money, what about Sasuke makes you want to go out with him more than anyone else? I mean, if it's one of those 3 reasons I mentioned, then it seems shallow, so I am asking, what do you see in him that makes you want to be with him more than any other guy? Sakura said, well, he's smart. Ino said, so is Shikamaru, and he's just too lazy to use his brain unless he wants to. What else? Sakura said, he's strong. Naruto said, and so is Choji. Sakura bit her lip and said, he's cool. Naruto blinked and said, how the hell can a guy who says the word HN as his answer to nearly everything be considered cool? He's a frosty bitch, I'll give you that, and how the hell is that cool? Sakura said, don't talk about Sasuke-kun like that. You're just jealous that he's better than you. Naruto said, really, and how do you know I am jealous? What do you actually know about me? Sakura said, well, you're an orphan. Naruto said, so is Sasuke, go on. Sakura said, you love ramen and eat it for every meal. Naruto said, nope, if you ask Sasuke, it gets lonely eating a meal that you had to cook yourself by yourself all the time. I like to eat at Ichiraku because Ayam and Tucci are both kind people who always make time to talk to each of their customers and treat them like family. I actually love something else. Next, Sakura frowned and said, you're a prankster. Naruto snickered and said, I use pranking as a way to train and test myself. Sakura, how hard do you think it was for an academy student in broad daylight wearing orange to paint the Hokage monument? And not get caught until I started banging my paint cans together to get everyone's attention, and then outran Chunin, Jounin, and Anbu for a while before I was finally caught. Since I am an orphan and didn't have anyone to help me, I thought by testing and improving my skills in live demonstration, instead of a controlled environment where nothing could go wrong, would help me improve my actual skills. If I can set traps Anbu falls for and sneak around without being caught setting up all those pranks in an area full of ninja, how good do you think I would be on an actual mission where my life and the lives of my teammates are in danger? I may not be as smart as Shikamaru, strong as Choji, good at tracking as Kiba, or as powerful as everyone thinks Sasuke is, and I'm good in other areas that my teammates might not be good at. Why else do you think they put us on teams of 3? To cover for each other's weaknesses. At this, everyone who was in the class was thinking over his answers, and Iruka, who came in hearing it, said, that is exactly right, Naruto. Konoha is the strongest of all the ninja villages because we believe in teamwork more than any other village, and our teammates cover our weakness to make the group stronger than we are individually. Kiba said, damn dude, who are you, and what have you done with the dead last? I mean, there's no way you're that smart. Naruto said, well, I guess you could say I'm sort of like Ino and Sakura in a way, Ino stronger and Sakura smarter. Most of you are smarter than me since you had family and clans to help you, and in physical skills, I give you a good run for your money. You all know the only one I've never beat was Sasuke when we spar. I've beat you all at least once because I thought of ways to fight you that you never encountered before." Everyone thought over his answer, and Sakura said, "Hey, how come you passed? I mean, we all saw you fail." Iruka said, "Actually, Sakura, Mizuki, when he was grading the written test, marked one answer wrong that was right, so it made it where Naruto passed instead of failing when I saw it and just checked to see if it would have made a difference and found it did." Quickly helping Naruto out, who smiled so he wouldn't have to reveal the truth. Sakura said, "Oh." Iruka smiled, and the door opened up as Jounins began to come pick up their teams. Finally, there was only Team 7 left. Naruto frowned after 10 minutes of waiting and put his hands together and said, "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." As 20 clones appeared, shocking Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto said, "All right, I want you all to go, grab a leaf outside, and divide up into teams of 4 and have each group either work on a hand, foot, or head. Go." All the clones said, "Hi, boss." As they quickly went outside, Iruka smiled as he worked on cleaning out his desk, and Naruto got down on the floor and began to do sit-ups. Sakura said, "Why did you create those clones, and why are you doing sit-ups, Baka?" Naruto said, "If I had time to sit and do nothing, then I would have time to make myself a better ninja. The Kage Bunshin transfers any info they get back to me when dispelled, and since chakra control is my worst area, I am having them work on a chakra control exercise that we were taught in the academy." Sakura said, "Well, you're stupid for tiring yourself out before we meet our sensei." Naruto said, "If you say so, Sakura, and I'm not going to be the weakest person on our team if I can help it." Causing Sakura to glare. Sasuke said, "Teach me that jutsu dobe." Naruto said, "Sorry, Sasuke, I found it in an old scroll laying on the ground, and I plan to make it part of my family jutsu when I someday have a family." Iruka said, "You don't have the chakra for it either, Sasuke, it's a kenjutsu for a reason. It could cause you to die from chakra exhaustion." If Naruto didn't do as much physical exercise as he did over the years, then he wouldn't have the chakra levels to use that jutsu. Naruto, after 5 minutes, asked, "Hey Iruka-sensei, how late is our sensei going to be?" Iruka said, "I have no idea, and I have to leave in a few minutes anyways. I want to wish you all good luck. I'll come back later and lock the doors. I need to run to the teacher's lounge before I leave. Have a good day." As he got up and left with a stack of scrolls and books. Naruto, after another 15 minutes, started to do push-ups for 15 minutes, then squats for 15 minutes, and then he began to run up and down the stairs high-stepping. After this, Naruto sat down, and Sakura said, "You're tired now?" Naruto said, "Not really, and I'm getting bored. If sensei comes, tell him I'll be right back." As he left the room, he walked down the hall and stopped outside the academy library, and he looked inside for a moment and walked in and thought, maybe going through some of these will help, and I guess I could learn a little about everything. If I create a few Kage Bunshin and have them start to read a book from each section, it should help me. As he put his hands together, and after 30 Kage Bunshin appeared, and Naruto frowned and thought, "I only wanted to make 6. "Oh well." And said, "All right, I only wanted to make 6, and since you're all here, I want you to divide up into teams of 5. Each team will start reading a different book in each section." A clone asked, "How come you don't have us read everything or make enough of us to read everything at once?" Naruto said, "Because I don't know what will happen if I do. Just each of you take one book and begin to read it from the section your team is at, and when you finish the book, dispel. That way you all won't finish at the same time, and I can get the memories without mixing them up." The clones said, "Right, boss." As they each went and grabbed a book and began to read. Naruto turned and left the library. It was 15 minutes after he left the classroom. Naruto walked in again, and Sakura said, "Where have you been, Baka? Sensei could have been here any minute." Naruto said, "I went to the library and had a few clones read a couple of books I never had the time to read while here, and I went to the gym and got these." As he showed a coup of hand weights. Sakura said, "What did you get a couple of weights for?" Naruto smirked and said, "These are to help me with my sword training. I've had this sword for a couple of days now, and I've been getting used to the weight of walking around with it so as not to slow me down. I wanted to get used to that weight before I got used to the weight of actually holding it. I think I've gotten used to the weight since I don't even feel it anymore, so I want to do the same thing with my arms when I am actually holding the sword, and if I were to hold it in here while we wait and tried to move with it, I might accidentally hit one of you or a desk or something and have to pay for the damage, so I weighed my sword with the scales in the gym, and I got a pair of hand weights that weigh about 3 pounds more than my sword does, so If I can get a feel of how this weight will affect my body until sensei gets here, then I have an idea of what I need to do to get used to the weight of my sword. As he began to move his arms while holding the weights and moving, judging how his body moved. Both Sasuke and Sakura were thinking over what he said, and Sasuke asked, "Who are you? Because there is no way you're the dope." Naruto said, "Or have I been faking all these years to hide my real skills? Deception is a ninja #1 asset." As a smirk appeared on his face, causing both to frown. Naruto said, "Relax, team. If you must know, I met someone named Uzumaki." Causing both Sasuke and Sakura to go wide-eyed. Sakura said, "So you met a family member?" Naruto said, "Sort of. I'm not allowed to tell who or how until the Chunin exams in 6 months. I have to make it to the exams in 6 months, so I am going to do everything I can to show that I am ready for them and for our sensei. I've spent the last few days trying to make myself better. I've taken up a new hobby instead of pranking that will allow me to be more calm. I'm taking my training serious, and I'm trying to be more presentable so that way my family, past, present, and future will be proud to have me as a member of their family. You don't know what it's like to go from hearing everyone tell you that you're just an unwanted bastard child who parents should have killed you the day you were born to actually knowing where you came from, sort of." As he kept moving his body into jutsu kata that were messed up and trying to balance his body with the extra weight. Sakura bit her lip and glanced at Sasuke, who seemed to be in thought, and Sasuke said, "Slide your left foot to the left a half step, dope." Naruto blinked and looked at Sasuke before he slid his left foot a half step, and he said, "I feel like my balance is better, thanks, team." Sasuke said, "HN, just don't slow us down, dope." Naruto said, "Just try not to fall too far behind, team." As he tried going through the rest of the academy to jutsu, as Sasuke gave a small smirk as Naruto gave a small smile. Sakura blinked as she looked between them and thought, did they just become friends? This was the sight Kakashi walked in and said, "My first impression of you is I hate you." With a smile. Naruto scowled and Kakashi said, "Meet me on the roof and don't be late." As he went up in smoke. Naruto thought, great. As he started toward the roof and stopped at the library and said, "Oi, one of you take these back to the gym and put them up and then come back to finish reading." As he set the 2 weights down before following Sasuke and Sakura. When they got to the roof and sat down, Kakashi said, "Now why don't we introduce ourselves?" Sakura said, "Why don't you go first, sensei, to show us how it's done?" Kakashi said, My name is Haddock Kakashi. My likes and dislikes are none of your business, dreams for the future. I have hobbies. You next, Pinky." Everyone thought all we learned was his name. Sakura said, "My name is Sakura Haruno. I like glance dreams, glance plans for the future, glance again at Sasuke." Kakashi said, "And you dislike it?" Sakura started to open her mouth and stopped and said, "Actually, I don't know." Kakashi said, "I see you next, Mr. Broody." Sasuke said, "My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I don't have many likes or dislikes. I have a dream now and a reality that I will see come to pass. I will restore my clan and kill a certain someone." Kakashi said, "And finally you have sunshine." Naruto said, "Name's Naruto for now. I have a short-term dream to get as strong as possible between now and the Chunin exams in 6 months. After that I will see what my future brings. I have started learning about plants to calm me down so I don't prank anymore. I hope to help both my teammates reach their goals." Kakashi nodded and said, "Very well, tomorrow I want you to meet me at training ground 7 at 5 AM to be tested, and don't eat or you will throw up." Sakura said, "What kind of test?" Kakashi smiled behind his mask and said, "You're going to freak out. It's a test that has a 66.6% failure rate. Of all the genins that passed, only 9 will become actual genins. The test you took in the academy was to see if you had the skills to take the actual test." Naruto said, "Wait a minute, if there are only 9 who passed, then that means 3 teams. Konoha believes in teamwork more than any other village." Sakura said, "That's right, Haruka-sensei commented about that after you pointed out that you may not be as good as Sasuke and me in some areas, and in others you are better than us." Sasuke said, "To cover our own weakness, to make a stronger team." Naruto smiled and said, "This is a test about teamwork, isn't it? It's a do-or-die question. You're going to put us in a test to see if we would put our goals ahead of the good of the mission. Like Sasuke, for example, he wants to kill someone. If we were at war with Iwa again and our mission was spying on Iwa, to find out how they plan to attack us, and we got the info, and were discovered, and Sakura, and I stayed back to buy Sasuke time to get the info back to Konoha, and on his way back he ran into the guy Sasuke wants to kill. Would he let the sacrifice Sakura, and I made so he could save our village be for nothing so he could kill the guy. Sasuke frowned and said I hate you Dobe, you know that right? Naruto said hey, I could have said that Sakura was our team medic and I had got the info and had my legs cut off and she had to carry me back with you guarding her and you got hurt with a critical wound. She could either save you and doom our village or save me and doom you. Sakura said do you stay up at night thinking of ways to make me hate you? Naruto smirked and Sasuke said what about you? If you could think of that then you must have thought of one for yourself. Naruto's smirk slowly fell away as his eyes glossed over and his voice came out quietly. The choice was never mine to make Sasuke see you tomorrow. As he got up and started toward the door. Sasuke and Sakura looked confused while Kakashi looked sadly at Naruto and Sakura asked what he was talking about. Sasuke said I don't know. Kakashi bit his lip and said those who don't follow the rules are trash and those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Naruto was put in one of those type of situations. When he was younger someone made the choice for him without asking him for his decision. And he now has to live each day with that person's decision. Don't ask him about it because it's painful for him. And you all already figured out the secret behind the test I was going to give you. There's no reason I need to test you so meet at training ground 7 at 7 AM. We will do some sparring so I can judge your skills myself and then take our first mission. I'll inform Naruto. As he left in a swirl of leaves. Naruto was quiet as he walked through the village and thought when a hand touched his shoulder and the next moment he was standing on a roof and he looked back and saw Kakashi and Kakashi said, I just wanted to tell you that you already passed the test and that you are to meet at 7 AM at training ground 7. We will have some sparring so I can judge your skills and then we will begin missions. You are the first to ever see through the test and the first team to ever pass my test. Those who don't follow the rules are trash and those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Naruto looked over the village for a moment and said what about those who try to kill their comrades? Kakashi seemed confused and asked what do you mean? Naruto said am I a part of this village or not? I've made a promise that I will forgive them for everything the people have done and the problem with forgiving is that you don't forget. If those who don't follow the rules are trash then everyone who broke the Sandame law is trash and what about those who even now abandon me and limit me to try and have me die? Kakashi frowned and said I don't know what to tell you, Naruto. Naruto said thanks for being honest Inu I recognize your voice and hair. Kakashi said I see. Naruto said I will do my best and work hard to serve Konoha until the Chunin exams are over. If the people can't see the truth after that I'm going to have a talk with Jiji. If there's never been an Uzumaki in this village like he claims, then Uzumaki is not my real name. If it's not my real name all my ninja forms are not legal and I can resign legally or just walk away. I won't stay where I'm not wanted. My parents wouldn't have wanted that for me. I'm sure of that, even if they're not alive somewhere they would want me safe and happy not as he shrugged his shoulders. Kakashi bit his lip behind his mask and said it might not be that simple Naruto. Naruto said I know, and if it turns out Jiji lied to me, how can I trust him not to have me killed after all? How is it that Mizuki was able to give me the combination to the Hokage vault when only him, and I guess the two elders should have access to that? Kakashi frowned and thought that is a very good question. And said I don't know Naruto. Naruto smiled and said so are you going to be 3 hours late tomorrow? I only ask because I've got my Kage Bunshin working on the leaf balancing chakra control exercise to help me get my control up there faster and I also want to send a couple of clones to the library under a henge to read anatomy and poisons. I figure if the furball makes it where I won't die from poisons then maybe I could become a poison expert. He's got to be good for something I guess. Kakashi thought maybe. And said to Naruto I want you to be honest with me. What do you think about your teammates? Naruto said Sasuke is a flight risk. He would betray Konoha in a heartbeat if someone offered him power to kill his brother. As for Sakura. Right now she's a fangirl and I'm hoping that since Ino is taking things more seriously now that she can help Sakura also. Kakashi said what I'm about to tell you, you can't tell anyone. The Hokage also feels Sasuke is a flight risk. Naruto said if you're going to tell me about how you're supposed to spend more time with Sasuke to make him more loyal or to keep an eye on him and kill him when he betrays the village. I already know his mental evaluation was on Jiji's desk when he went to explain what to do with Mizuki. I glanced at it and thought Jiji was stupid to pay someone to do an evaluation on him when anyone with two eyes could see how he is. The thing is, I think Sasuke being tricked. Kakashi asked, "What do you mean?" Naruto said, "I've been to the Uchiha clan district since the massacre. The blood is still on the inside of the houses dried, so nobody cleaned up the place. And how is it that a clan that specializes in fire jutsu couldn't get a single fire jutsu off to kill Itachi? There's not one single scorch mark on any walls or building. It's just not possible that someone is that fast and strong to do it by himself. Even the yondaime from stories I read had to dodge some jutsu even when he was using the Hiraishin. There's no way Itachi was faster than yondaime. The only thing I could think of is that it was Danzo and Root." Kakashi looked at Naruto, shocked, and asked, "What makes you say that?" Naruto said, "Well, Jiji told me to stay away from Danzo and any Anbo with the mask with the kanji on them. Root, I know Danzo tried to kidnap one of the clan heirs at least twice already. I have proof of that, so if he's willing to kidnap to get a clan's bloodline, why wouldn't he be willing to kill to get it? Itachi loves Sasuke. I remember when he was my guard as a kid, how he talked about how his little brother Itachi would give his life to save his brother, so if Itachi did kill his clan, he had help and he only would do it to save Sasuke. That is what I honestly believe." Kakashi frowned behind his mask and said, "Are you sure you have proof Danzo tried to kidnap an heir to a clan?" Naruto said, "Would the word of the heir he tried to get be enough proof?" Kakashi placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder and they left in a swirl of leaves. They appeared in the Hokage office and the Sandaime said, "Ah, Kakashi, Naruto, to what I owe the pleasure." Kakashi said, "Well, Naruto and I were having a small talk after his team already passed my test. Team 7 is the officials, sir, and Naruto brought up a few things that I found very interesting and thought you should hear." Sandaime said, "And those are?" Kakashi said, "Naruto told me Mizuki gave him the combination to the Hokage safe. He asked how Mizuki could get that with only you and possibly the elders knowing it. He also mentioned to me how he believes that Danzo and Root killed the Uchiha clan and that he has proof that Danzo has tried to kidnap an heir to one of the clans twice already." Sandaime paled and looked at Naruto and said, "You have the combination?" Naruto said 6, 13, 3, 9. Sandaime frowned and said, "What about the proof you have about the kidnapping?" Naruto said, "You remember when the orphanage manager was arrested after he broke my arm and I had a girl's coat? That coat belonged to a girl Ino was helping to escape from the orphanage. I took the coat to make him chase me when I saw what was going on. I never told anyone about Ino or the girl until Ino and I were talking recently and she saw the coat I had from that night, which I kept. Ino told me that after she helped the girl to escape after I lured the guy away from them, the girl was meeting a woman who was dressed like an Anbu and had kanji on the mask. The woman tried to talk Ino into going with them to serve her master and Ino got angry and ran away back home after they got in an argument. A year later the girl Ino saved came to Ino and tried to get her to leave her family and join the girl's master, promising her a better life. Ino told me they got into another argument and the girl left. I never told Ino I knew about who those Root ninja were and I was telling Kakashi if Danzo would try and get Ino twice, an heiress to one of the clans, what's stopping him from killing members of a clan to get their bloodline? I mean, I already proved to Kakashi-sensei there is no way one person killed that clan by himself. Itachi would have to have been faster than the yondaime using Hiraishin, and even then at least one of them should have gotten a jutsu off, and yet there is not one single scorch mark on any building. The bloods are still there, so nobody cleaned the place up, and fire jutsu are something every Uchiha knew. I wouldn't be surprised if Danzo got one of those eyes like Kakashi-sensei does under his bandages. Itachi loves Sasuke. If he was involved, the only way he would have killed his clan was to save Sasuke's life. I honestly believe that Jiji." The Sandaime frowned and thought, "Why didn't I think of that? They told me Itachi did it by himself, and if there is not even one scorch mark then there is no way he could have," and said, "Who all knows about this, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Just me." The Sandaime said, "I'm going to look into this. I'll ask Ino about what you told me," she said. "Until then I want you to keep quiet about it." Naruto said, "I know. I've got enough to worry about already." Kakashi said, "That reminds me, sir, there were a few other things that were said that I think you should know. Naruto is thinking about becoming a poison expert. He thinks with Kyuubi stopping all the poisons he's been in contact with, He might be able to become Konoha's best poison expert. He also accidentally read Sasuke's mental evaluation and knows about my orders. I was thinking, maybe Naruto might be able to spend some time learning under her. She could teach him a thing or two about poisons. Naruto said if you're going to tell him you might as well tell him everything. I also recognize Inu's voice and hair from when I was younger, and I also said that I made a promise that I will forgive Konoha for everything they have done to me up till now. I am going to do my best for the next 6 months to prove I'm me and not the fox. The village has had 15 years to get over their pain and suffering from the fox, and yet each year they throw a party rejoicing in the pain they cause me. If after the Chunin exams are over the village can't accept me, then I'm going to resign and leave the village. You told me there are no Uzumaki ever in the village, so that means that Uzumaki isn't my real name. If it's not my real name, then that means all my ninja paperwork is illegal, so I will have no legal bond to Konoha. My parents, whoever they are or were, would want me to be safe and happy, not living each day hated and in fear of who will stab me in the back next. Sandaime frowned and said, it's not that easy, Naruto. Naruto gave him a deadpan expression and said, what's not that easy? Everything in life is a choice. The Yondaime chose me to be a Jinchuriki, a human sacrifice. You chose to reveal it to the village, the people choosing to attack me, the people choosing to ignore your law, someone choosing to aid Mizuki in trying to get me killed by giving him the combination to that safe. In life we all have choices. I chose to give the village one more chance. If the people of the village chose to dishonor mine and my family's sacrifices for them, then I chose they don't deserve me and I'll choose to leave. It could go the other way. The village could choose to try and push me even further until I snap and choose to take as many as I can with me when I go. I'm no different than anyone else. I am a product of my choices and the choices of those around me. Right now you could be lying to me and chose to hide from me who my parents are thinking it's safer for me not to know. If I find out later that is the case, it's my choice to ever believe you again. Sandaime frowned and said, I see your point. If it comes down to it, will you leave before the Chunin exams? Naruto said no. I made a promise and I always keep my promise. I am going to earn my chance to be in the exams and I will make it to the finals and show everyone who I really am. If they choose to ignore it, then I will leave. Sandaime said, very well, that is all. Naruto said, no, I was coming here to see you for something when Kakashi-sensei stopped me. I wanted to know if you could get me one of those big scrolls like the Forbidden Scroll and also give me a seal on my arm. Kakashi asked why. Naruto said, since I don't know who I really am or where I come from, I don't want my future family to have that same problem. I want to start a family jutsu scroll. I will put down every jutsu I know on the scroll so that way my future family could surpass me. Isn't it the task of every generation to surpass the one that came before it? By having the seal on my arm, I can keep my jutsu with me and safe so no one could steal them from me. Also, information that I learned that might be valuable to remind me what is important in life could be put on there. Kakashi-sensei said those who don't follow the rules are trash and those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. I know from a certain point of view what I'm thinking about doing. If the people don't change makes me look like I'm lower than trash, and how am I lower than trash when I have no comrades, no friends? In this entire village I have maybe 10 people who give a damn if I even live. I'm not allowed in stores, and those I'm overcharged by 3 times the amount where I have to use henge to get anything to live on. I'm not allowed in the library, and had it not been for my former tenant then I never would have even known how to read. I have to take this opportunity right now, while nobody in the academy has to have Kage Bunshin read a few books that might help me later. That reminds me, why don't you use a Kage Bunshin to help you with paperwork? I know the mental feedback might be bad, and if you have one to help you for maybe 30 minutes at least, it would get you done 30 minutes earlier. Also, the guy you trained Konohamaru is getting the shit beat out of him right now. One of my Kage Bunshin was training when Konohamaru found him and befriended him, and it taught him my sexy no jutsu, and his sensei showed up and called me trash. And my Kage Bunshin created a harem jutsu with Kage Bunshin mixed in using sexy no jutsu. The guy blew back with a nosebleed and slid under teammate Hot Sensei. She thought he was looking up her dress and she's beating the shit out of him as we speak. My clone dispelled, letting me know. The Sandaime slumped in his chair and began to rub his face and said, you have given me a lot to think about, Naruto. For what it's worth, I'm sorry the people have treated you the way they have, and I know I haven't always done what's best for you, and for that I am sorry. Naruto said to Jiji, "You're the leader of our village. Not the council, not Danzo, not the advisors, not the clan heads, you. You're the man who was chosen by both Hashirama and Tobirama Senju as the best man for the job to take care of the garden they started. For many years you made the garden grow and become beautiful, and then you chose the Yondaime to take over for you. He took care of the garden until a snake nobody could see coming attacked him, and he died. You took back over as the gardener, and slowly weeds are starting to come up. The weeds are strangling the life out of the garden one plant at a time. You can't stop all the weeds and stop the major ones. That way when you find someone to take over the garden for you again, they won't have to worry about the weeds with roots so deep they can't be stopped, cause if you don't the garden going to be so overgrown by weeds, the beautiful flowers the Senju brothers planted won't be able to be seen. Do what you want, I'm only giving you my opinion. Do what you think is best and live with the choices you make." As he turned and started toward the door, Sarutobi said, "Wait, what about the scroll and the seal you wanted?" Naruto said, "I'd like it, and I don't want to be a bother. I can't afford to pay for it, and I thought I would ask. It never hurts to ask for help, that's something I hope Sasuke learns from you, Kakashi-sensei." Sarutobi said to Kakashi, "You can draw a storage seal on his arm for him, right?" Kakashi said yes. Sarutobi said, "All right, take him and draw that seal plus one more on him somewhere. Then I want you to take him where he can get those storage scrolls, take this and give it to the clerk to pay for. Get him 2 of those scrolls. I want you to take one of them home with you and draw storage seals on it and then teach Naruto how to seal and unseal it. While you're at the weapon shop also get him supplies that you feel he needs as a ninja and for missions that he can store in the storage scroll you make him. I'll pay for it out of my own pocket and I'll pay you for your time drawing those seals." Naruto said, "And Jiji, I." Sarutobi said, "No Naruto, consider paying for telling me about the Kage Bunshin Jutsu as well as for the information you provided me." Kakashi said, "And I'll do it for free to show you that there are people here who care for you. Just like you said, there are still flowers here who want to be seen by you, Naruto. Take your time and look around the weeds and you will find them." Naruto bit his lip and walked over to the window and closed his eyes, and his voice sounded sad as tears fell down his face, and asked, "I used to think I wanted to be Hokage. I thought that if I were able to be Hokage the people of this village would look up to me. It was a selfish reason. Now that I know what a Hokage must truly do, I don't know if I have what it takes to be one. To me family and friends are more precious than all the money in the world. I'm selfish because I want to protect those precious to me more than those I want to be seen by. How could he do it? How could he sacrifice his life and his own flesh and blood willingly for these people? I want to be angry at him, and how can I be angry at my father? He did all he could to protect me, and it's not right." As he lowered his head, Sarutobi and Kakashi both looked at Naruto sadly, and Kakashi asked, "What do you mean, Father Naruto?" Naruto said, "They knew before I was ever conceived mom was going to die from childbirth. She gave her life willingly to have a child and for the love of my father. Dad made sure there would be a way I could hear my mother and be held by her once in my life. The night I got my Hayate, the seal activated, and I met Kushina Uzumaki, my mother." As he turned around and reached up and grabbed the bandages on his face and removed them, Naruto still had tears flowing down his face and said, "Dad loved this village so much that he put a Jinjutsu seal on me. He left a letter to you, Jiji, telling you he was creating a Jinchuriki, a human sacrifice, not one with a demon sealed in them, and one that made people think he did to protect Konoha from our enemies because of how weak we were after the Kyuubi attack." As he raised his shirt and showed them, the seal was gone. Both Kakashi and Sarutobi were shocked and looked at Naruto, who turned back to the window and said, "I don't know if I had to do what he did, if I could do it." Sarutobi said, "What? Why haven't you told us about this, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Does it matter?" Sarutobi said, "Yes, it matters." Naruto said, "Why, is there anything different about me? Have I changed who I am? I'm still what people see me as. I'm still who I was before I found out. With age comes wisdom. I'm a little older and a little wiser, and I'm still the same person I was. You're trying to figure out if what I said is true. Then how did Dad stop Kyuubi? What really happened? If I tell you, then you will want to tell the people repelling your law. Most people will either not believe you or start sucking up to me because of who I am related to. Some will try to use me to make themselves more powerful, and in the end the only person who will truly have anything different about them is me, and I'll have not only my own enemies and my families to worry about, so in the end I'll just start suffering more. People still won't see me as me." Sarutobi frowned, and Kakashi said, "He's right, sir." Sarutobi said, "I know, Kakashi." Naruto bit his lip and said, "If," catching both men's attention. Sarutobi said, "If what?" Naruto said, there might be a way to reveal the truth. A person. If you could get her to come here and talk to me alone, or I can go to her and talk to her alone for just a few minutes. She's the only one who could do anything about it to give me a chance to be seen as me, and it would be her choice on what to do." Sarutobi said, "Who, and how do you know she can help?" Naruto said, "My mother told me and gave me something to give to her. Something that will change Konoha forever." Sarutobi said, "Who is it, and what is it?" Naruto said, "To Tsunade. I need to speak with Tsunade Senju. She's the only one who will know what it is my mother told me about, and the only one who could change things. The secret behind how Dad stopped Kyuubi is all linked to what I need to speak to Tsunade about. I wish I could say more, and I can't. I promised I wouldn't, and I never break my promises." Sarutobi frowned, and Naruto said, "Please, she's the only chance I have. I would give up everything if you would just let me speak with her, just once." With hope in his voice and in his eyes, Sarutobi said to Kakashi, "You said Team 7 has passed already?" Kakashi said, "Yes, sir." Sarutobi looked at Naruto and said, "Are you sure, Naruto? Are you sure that Tsunade could help you, or that she would want to?" Naruto said, "Yes, what I have is something that will make her very happy, and me as well. I'm positive she will most likely keep me by her side the rest of her life." Sarutobi thought for a moment, and his eyes went wide and said, "Wait, if you don't have Kyuubi, then how are you able to heal so fast?" Naruto flinched and said, "Shit, I was hoping you wouldn't think that I have two bloodlines. One from my father and one from my mother. Being able to heal is from my mother's. It's also why I have such large chakra reserves." Sarutobi asked, "And the other?" Naruto bit his lip and after several moments said, "Mokuton," causing both Kakashi and Sarutobi's eyes to go wide. Sarutobi asked, "How?" Naruto frowned and reached into his coat and pulled out a scroll and handed it to him. Sarutobi opened it and his eyes went wide-eyed and he said, "So your father was the Shodame's grandson. He used Mokuton to stop Kyuubi." Naruto said, "It gets even more troublesome than that. The council declared me an adult at the age of 6 by me also being a ninja and the only member of my clan here in Konoha. I'm technically the clan head of the Senju clan right now. Also because of my mother's bloodline. If the truth comes out, then I'm going to be walking in a minefield that could cause me to be turned into nothing, and breeding stock Tsunade is the only chance I have. If she comes back and takes over as clan head, she can protect me and knows enough about the laws of the village to be able to keep me from being turned into basically a slave. There's so much I don't know yet, and I know once people find out the truth they will start treating me like they do Sasuke, while also secretly hating my guts. They will use every trick they can to use me, and then once I've secured my bloodline, get rid of me." Sarutobi leaned back and asked, "Who all knows of this?" Naruto bit his lip and said, "Ino, she found me when I was practicing my bloodline and I was forced to reveal it." Sarutobi bit his lip and said, "Do you still want to learn about poisons?" Naruto said, "And plants, yeah." Sarutobi nods and says to Kakashi, "I want you to go like I told you and get Naruto ready to be a ninja and for missions. Tomorrow morning Naruto meets here at 7 a.m. I am going to send you and Ino on a mission to find Tsunade. I am going to send you to Anko, a Konoha poison expert. She will be your sensei on your trip. You will not return until you find her. Kakashi, you will take Sasuke as an apprentice until Naruto returns. Sakura will be placed with Team 10 until their return. Then you will go back to normal teams." Naruto said, "Damn, I'm going to have to hurry tonight then." Sarutobi said, "Why?" Glancing at Naruto. Naruto said, "I was going to sneak into my clan's house and copy my family jutsu so I could get stronger." Kakashi said, "How about this? How about I take you to your clan house and seal your family scrolls into one of those storage scrolls so you can have them to look at while you're gone and I can have an idea of what you're learning." Naruto looked at the Sandame, who nodded, and Naruto said, "Sure, and please don't teach Sasuke my family jutsu." Kakashi said, "I won't." Naruto smiled and said, "Thank you, both of you. You don't know how much this means to me." Sarutobi said, "Is there anything else we need to know?" Naruto thought and said, "Well, I did get something That my godmother gave me. Kakashi said godmother who? Naruto said she's from another village somewhere. My mom summoned her and her two sisters somehow, and they gave me these clothes and these. As he pulled out a deck of cards. Sarutobi laughed and said you are definitely related to Tsunade. Naruto looked confused and said these are not normal cards to watch. As he turned one card around and had it face Naruto, a picture of Naruto showed up on the card and Naruto then pushed some chakra into the card and another Naruto appeared. Naruto said this is sort of like a Kagebunshin and it can't be destroyed. Any jutsu he uses draws chakra from me and he has his own skills. Chance my godmother, she told me, if I copied Tsunade with these cards and used that card, when my teammates were injured a clone of Tsunade with all her skills at the time I copied her would appear and do whatever Tsunade would do while using my chakra and her knowledge to heal my teammates. I can't order her to do anything and at least I would have her there to save them if she chose to. Both men looked shocked and Sarutobi said amazing, can your godmother make more of those? Naruto said I don't know. I don't even know where she lives or from. I just know that mom summoned her somehow and they took me away for a couple of hours after mom dispelled. That is a night I will never forget. I just wish I could remember it all. As a blush appeared. Kakashi gave a perverted giggle and said so did you get a kiss or something? Naruto said flatly no, got drunk, danced, and fucked all three sisters at the same time. Chance, fate, and destiny said they wanted me to be broken into adulthood right. Kakashi and Sarutobi both looked at Naruto shocked and both said at the same time damn. Naruto said I think I still got a couple of the love bites they gave me anyways, if we are going to do this then we need to go before it gets too late. Kakashi said, right, let's go. As he moved over to Naruto who looked at the sandame and said sorry for not telling you Gigi, and I'm still trying to come to terms myself, and I don't know what to do really. And I'm afraid of what will happen. I've walked to the gates I don't know how many times and just looked out of them thinking, and if it wasn't for you, Ayam, Tucci, Iruka, Ino, and you Kakashi-sensei I think I would have walked out and never looked back. I know that must make me sound like a traitor, and Sarutobi said no Naruto I understand, just please give the people one more chance. Naruto said I am. Sarutobi nods and Kakashi places his hand on Naruto's shoulder and they leave in a swirl of leaves. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. If you want the next part of this story, let me know in the comment box. See you next time, till then sayonara.